So we are looking at the control rig system inside Unreal Engine. Thinking about Unreal Engine not as a game engine, but more like a simulation engine. Today, we are going to try the new experimental workflows. We'll be looking at the new modular control rig system. We'll be looking at how the auto retargeting of the animation works, as well as we will look at how to use the animation sequences. They could be keyframe animation, they could be game animations out of the marketplace, or they could be motion capture animation nonetheless, or motion data, if I can put it that way. How can we use the same motion data on multiple characters? So it could be the mannequin, it could be the metahuman, as well as we will look at the new Reallusion character creator characters or digital humans that now are compatible with the metahuman control rigs that come pre-built with metahumans. We will also look at how the new layered control rig system works and how we can use that for non-destructive workflows. So here we have many. So, if I was to create a level sequence, so objects and folders, and then how do we bring many into the sequencer? There are multiple ways of bringing many. I can click on many. I can click on many inside my outline. Many is an actor in my viewport. I can left click and drag and drop it in the sequencer. The moment I do that, you will see that many has a control rig, because this is already programmed into the Many's skeletal mesh. So whenever Many is added to the sequencer, Unreal Engine changes the mode to animation mode. Here's Many, here's the control rig. Now, one thing to remember, the control rig and the skeleton are not one and the same. They're two different things. With the control rig, it is slightly different. So, the control rig works on the joint systems. So, it manipulates the joint systems. Okay? So, the control rig controls the skeletal system inside the skin mesh. Excuse me. So how did I make it go back to normal? Remember, I showed you the shortcuts, Control-Shift-G, that is your go-to. So it will reset your control rig. Okay? So here we have SK Mannequin. Here we have animation, transform, and a control rig. That is this control rig. So if I was to make this 24 frames per second, because I'm a cinematographer, I do all my filming in 24 frames per second. Some quick pro tips. If you go to this playback option in the sequencer, drop this down. This particular setting is switched off by default. What does this do? This allows the playhead to scrub out of the range. So the green marker is the starting marker, the red marker is the end marker, and this is your playhead. Alright? This is called a 3-point edit. That's a whole different class in editing, so I'm again not going into that. So when I'm working with animation sequences, I like to switch this on. Keep playhead in playback range while scrubbing. So you see, now it just snaps to the start and end. So just a little pro tip there. Another one, this is switched off by default. It is called auto key. Switch this on. This will save a lot of hassles for you. So let's have a look. I'm going to add a new keyframe. I can select the CR mannequin body, hit this add a new key button, and it adds a little dot there. Can you see that in the screen? Okay. So it has added one little dot, one key. That key, if I untwirl the mannequin, is on every single control on this control rig. So I establish a universal neutral control key. Now from here, if I go to frame 24 and I go to global controls, I have a leg FK-IK switch as well as an arm FK-IK switch. What do I mean by that? We see these controls over here that are pointing to the knee. But on the arms, we just see controls. So FK is forward kinematics. Again, to the technical animators and riggers amongst us, you all understand what forward kinematics and inverse kinematics is. So FK means forward kinematics, inverse kinematics is IK. So forward kinematics is when I'm just moving forward, whereas inverse kinematic is, what was that song that I can't remember, the foot bone is connected to the knee bone, the leg bone, and so it's joint systems and how each of those actually have an effect on the chain of joints. So for example, if I was to select the foot control here, you see, if I just move the ankle, the entire leg and the knee is moving. But if I was to switch off the leg IK, now, can you see what's happening? The remainder of my joints don't want to move. Oh, it's broken it. It's a monster. So that is the difference between FK and IK. By default, if you click on the global control, your leg IK is activated. Arms are not. You can pick them and the arms will also go into IK mode. So now I can take my hand control, come on, and I can move, and the entire arm, forearm, the clavicle, everything moves just as I'm moving this hand. Same thing if my IK is switched off and I simply use the control. It's only that particular control that we are moving. Oops. keyframe, put a new one. Okay. So, if I want many to wave at us, I've added my neutral keyframe. I can start to bring his arm up. Most people, what they will do is go here and start rotating the arm and then bring this up. However, this creates an issue. What is the issue? The issue is the shoulder is dug in. If we were to pull our arm up, if I was to pull my arm up, my shoulder or the clavicle also moves up. Okay? So, one thing good to know is start from the clavicle. Adjust the clavicle first. Bring it up. Bring the arm around. Bring this up. Okay. You will notice that I have got a new key because I had the auto key on and I had established a neutral control key. So now if I scrub, the arm goes up. Alright, so this is where we were. So the arm comes up. If I move a couple frames forward, the hand is going to move, but the elbow is also going to move. Move frames forward, the hand is going to start coming the other side. So, here we have the first wave. Now, you may have noticed that I moved the hand control and then I moved the elbow control. So, in a way, I'm working with forward kinematics, but my workflow is based on inverse kinematics. So, the hand joint moves. The hand joint moves, that then pulls the elbow. If I go back to my control rig, I can see that this keyframe here is the arm coming up and the other three are the actual wave. I can select all of them, left click and drag over the keyframes. I can hold Alt, and I can duplicate them. So now I have the animation moving. I can also go into my curve editor. So if I was to select just my hand control, open the curve editor. Here is my curve editor. I can select these. I can set them to pre and post infinity to oscillate, so they will keep on moving and so forth. I can change this to cubic interpolation. I can change it to linear. So all of these things I can do. So here is my wave. So once I've done this, let's say this is my masterpiece animation, looking great. Manny is saying hi to everyone. This is keyframed. And I need to now send this over to the production company. There is no animation track here. Everything has been done on the actual control rig. If I select the mannequin, right click, I can now go and bake this to an animation sequence. And it will ask me where I want to save it. Let's just go to content, right click new folder, test animation, and in there I'm going to say Manny wave and OK. Animation sequence option, leave it to default, export to animation sequence. Let's export it. Yeah, so there's my animation. I can open the animation up and there's my animation. The animation that I just made, the masterpiece, using Control Rig. And over here we can see how those controls that we keyframe are actually affecting the skeletal system of the character. And that skeletal system is what is then affecting the skin or the mesh of the character. Alright? So when we work with motion capture data, performance capture data, even AI, video to motion capture data, or text to performance capture data, we get translation, transform, rotation values which are keyframes. And that is what, when applied to your character, actually affect the skeleton. I have baked it to an animation sequence. I'm going to go and delete my control rig. If I go to animation and I search for wave, Manny wave, that's the animation that I've applied. Because it was created on this character's skeleton, the animation is compatible with the skeleton, which means when I click the plus button in front of animation, I can actually go and bring this animation in here. Now let's say we've done this animation, but we want to make further corrections. If I click on SK Manny, the plus track, right click, bake to control rig. We have FK control rig and the CR mannequin body, which was the control rig we were using. So I'm going to go and this time choose the FK control rig. Create, and now you will see that the animation has grayed out or become lighter. That is because it is inactive. I can reactivate it and it is in full color, but automatically it has been deactivated. Why? Because I have told Unreal Engine, this is the animation that I want you to bake onto the FK control rig. Now, FK control rig, as you can see, is very, very similar to the skeletal structure, because that is exactly what it is. You may bring in a character from Maya, from Blender, that doesn't have a control rig. How can you do this workflow? That is when you would use the FK control rig. If your character has a control rig, whether you have created it in a third-party software or you have created it inside Unreal Engine itself, then that control rig will be available. All the keys are here. So I can see the head, the neck, everything. So when you're working with motion capture data, FK Control Rig is something that is really helpful, because if I say the head and I choose this and I do that, so humor me here. Let's say this is motion capture data that we brought in, and there was popping. So I have baked that animation to my FK Control Rig. I can zoom in and that's where the popping happens. I can take this keyframe and I can delete it. No more popping. The data is still there. The animation sequence has not been altered. I baked the keys to the FK Control Rig, and that is where I'm doing the motion capture cleanup. Motion Builder is a go-to software for motion cleanup, motion capture cleanup. Alright? That is the same thing you can do here. So with the FK Control Rig, there was a popping, and I have gone and I've cleaned that popping up. This was the pop in the data, noise in the data. I isolated which bone is popping. I found which key is popping. I select that keyframe, and I delete that keyframe, and my data is clean. So there's my FK Control Rig. This time I'm going to click the plus button, and there's another control rig. I'm going to select layer, and I'm going to go and bring the actual control rig. And in this control rig, I'm going to establish my control key, and I can now the original animation data was just the waving. The original data had a noise artifact that I cleaned with the FK Control Rig, and then I layered the Mannequin Control Rig, the FK Control Rig and the Control Rig. So you'll hear the same word over and over again. It gets confusing, but it also gets easier the more you work. So now, in the control rig, I did not bake the keys. I'm using it as an additive layer. And I can then go and bake this to an animation sequence again. And test animation, many wave to export, and I have a new animation sequence, but my original data is still there, which was just one arm that was waving. But out of that, I've just created both arms in a whole new animation sequence. I can bring that animation in, and then I could do the same thing. I could just bake it to a FK Control Rig or a Mannequin Control Rig again, and either way it will work. So let's try this time with the Mannequin Control Rig, and now I have the same animation, but now it's baked out, and then I can obviously add an additive layer to this, and let's say this time around I want control key. Don't forget the control key. This time around, when the arms go up, I want his head to turn and look up. So now, let's have a look at the new modular control rig. So, where does this mannequin live? This mannequin lives over here. How did I get here? I've selected my many in my outliner, in the details panel, skeletal mesh, this icon with the folder and the little magnifying glass. If you click it, it actually opens up the content drawer and where it lives. Other way to find it is to select Control B. It does the same thing. Alright, now if I right click, I'm right clicking on the SK Many skeletal mesh. That's the asset with the pink line. Alright, a modular control rig system. Here is the rig, and what am I looking at? I understand this. There is no coding. It's just my character. Pro tip, you're going to see the module assets. Click on this gear icon and go to tiles. Now when you first open the modular control rig, you'll see this window show up in the middle. Don't worry about this window, you can just close it. The modular control rig already has the root established. The root bone is this triangular bone over here. So the root control is already established. Why? Because I right click on this character and I said create a modular rig. It says add the spine O1 to the socket. Okay, here's my spine. Pro tip, hold down your left control button, mouse wheel, scroll to zoom in and out. Okay. Spine, left click, drag, drop. It has added the control rig, or started doing the control rig. Now it has given me other sockets. This says shoulder. Follow it. I'm going to select both those, take the shoulder, drop it there. Ah, I have the clavicle controls. This says neck. Bring it, and now I have the head control. It says hand socket. Logically, we are looking for the hand. There is no hand module. This is for the arm. Place the arm module here. Can you see that? This got me out when I first started using with it. So I'm going to drag the arm and drop it in that socket, and here's my arm. Do the same thing over there. Here's my arm. Now, again, this is something that the dev team is aware of. It is currently broken in the modular control rig system, as well as the normal control rig system, which is the FK-IK switch. So, just so you know. Now comes time for the thigh, which is the leg. So I'm going to add the leg. Whoa, what happened there? I am deformed. No, you did not do anything wrong. Don't go here and don't get in a panic mode. Everything is right. The leg is connected to the thigh socket, thigh bone. Yes, everything is correct. But my leg is twisted. Select the leg control. FK-IK default. Switch it off. This one, leg, drop it in there. Does the same thing. Search for leg 1, FK-IK, switch it off, so it goes to the FK mode. Foot, let's go and find the foot, drop it on the foot, drop it on the foot. Let's try and zoom in to the fingers. I'm holding down Control and I'm selecting the fingers, both hands. So they are all selected. I'm going to go to finger and drop it. Yes. And here is my control rig. Compile. Save. Done. This is the new control rig that I created with the Modular Control Rig system. And now, if I bring this out, it does the same thing. That's interesting. It doesn't. You see, it's a different actor altogether. Any character that has a control rig already assigned to it, when you add it to your outline, to your viewport, it will activate the animation mode and bring the sequencer up. It will also auto add it to your sequencer. Now, I can go and look for that wave. Oh no, nothing's happening. It's not waving. But I have a control rig. Why is not working? Because the control rig takes precedence over the animation in this instance. So, if I delete the control rig, there's my raw data. I can now right-click, bake to control rig. I did not name it. I would name it appropriately, but I know this is the modular rig that I've created. I can go and I can bake it, and here is my animation data. I can now go and add an additive layer, and let's say I want Mr. Manning to again set the control point. When this comes up, I want Mr. Manny to first and there you go. Weird animation. So that is how the new modular control rig system works. Can we bring FK and rig to this? Absolutely. Bake to control rig, FK control rig. Boom. Here's my FK control as well. Okay, so the control rig system works similar to the manual control rig system. However, the modular control rig is created procedurally. So the modules are already pre-programmed using the blueprint by the Epic Games engineering team for visual artists to simply drag and drop and create everything. Alright? Cool. Okay, now I have a metahuman here. Here is my metahuman. I'm going to make a new sequence, and I'm going to call it, let's say, an H. Oops. Save. Here's my sequence. Animation mode is open. Anim outliner, anim detail only opens up when you're in animation mode. Anim details and details are different. Just keep that in mind. So now, let's go select this metahuman, click, drag, drop, and I have the control rig. I have something else. I have a face board. So what's happening here? It says BP Jesse. And in my sequencer, I have body and a control rig. I have a face and a control rig. Wait, mannequin just had one control rig. Why do I have a body and face? Because metahumans are made of multiple skeletal meshes. What do I mean by that? If I was to open the blueprint, here is the character. Here is the body. That is the parent. Here are the feet, which are separate. Legs, which are separate. Torso, which is separate. Alright? So it is made up of modular pieces put together, so the head has a skeletal mesh of its own. Just remember, when you're working with metahumans, they are a different beast. As much as MetaHuman Creator works on the Maya principle in creating the characters, the skinning, the rigging, the skeletal systems, however, it's rather complicated as well. Don't have to worry about it. Just know that the metahumans come with a body control rig and a face control rig. The face control rig is the face board. The face board allows you things like controlling your eyes, your facial expressions. And it's not only the eyeball, you see the actual eyelids also move. So that is what the face control rig does. And as I select those controls, you will notice that it highlights in the sequencer which control I'm selecting. Okay, so with the MetaHuman control rig, if I want an animation to be added, let's just go and find an animation quickly. Characters. I have already imported the 500 animations from the motion matching project that was recently released. You will notice that it comes with a UEFN mannequin. The UEFN mannequin is a compatible mannequin with MetaHuman and the SK mannequin, and the animations are all here. So let's say I want a running. Let's see, which one do I want? Okay. Is there a... Well, this is all motion capture data. So let's say this is the neutral run box, right? Okay. So I'm going to go and find... Actually, I can click on any one of this, right click, and retarget animation. And the retargeter opens. Till date, in Unreal Engine 4 and previous versions of Unreal Engine 5, we would create a IK retargeter for our primary skeletal mesh, which has the animation. We would create an IK retargeter for the character mesh that we want to retarget the animation to. We would create a retarget asset, and that is what we would then see, and this is what would happen. However, now it is automated. So in here, if I search for my MetaHuman, I just get the Jesse face, but I have an M-tall normal body. I have to select the body. Wait, I cannot see me. That's alright. Because I'm retargeting the animation to the body, not to the head. Remember how I explained that there are different skeletal meshes? So now, if I look for the run, which was, I have forgotten what it was called. New code, run bot. Cool, okay. Export animation. Let's just put it in test animation. Export. Now if I go to my body, go to animation and search for run, that's what I have just exported. And it's not working because the control rig is there. Let's delete those control rigs. There you go. Animation is working. Same thing again. I can bake this to my control rig. Right click on the body. If you right click on the BP itself, you're not going to see that. You have to click on the skeletal. Bake to control rig. Create. And there's my animation baked to control rig, and I can do whatever I want with it now. Okay? That is how it works. I can reactivate this. I can trim it. I can add another animation. Let's say, what do we have for walk? Do we have a walk? No, we don't have. Alright, let's find another walking one. This time let's go for a different animation. Walk, there. Now this is a UE4 compatible mannequin skeleton. It has nothing to do with the UE5, but can we use it? The data is there. Yes, we can. So, right click, retarget animation, make sure you search for the body, walk while thinking. Here's the walk, export animation, test animation, export. Walk. Here is the walk animation. Now they are stacking on top of one another. Now that run animation and the walk animation are blending. They're doing some interesting calculations. It's almost like it's bringing half and half. But if I was to drag it and put it up, I have the running and then I have the walking. So let's say I want to start the walking from here. I can trim this and I can also blend it in. So I'm running and then I start walking. Okay. So let's say we are adding multiple motion capture data and we need to make one sequence. So now I've added my animations, I've blended them together. There is no correction on it right now. But I am now going to go and say bake to control rig. It will be on my 0 frame, body, bake to control rig, create. But now I can actually delete those animations and I still have the same animation. And now I can go and bake this to its own animation altogether. I don't want to do baking to control rig. Instead, I want to do something different now. And that is, if I go to the body and go layered, now I'll add the same control rig. Now this is something new in Unreal Engine 5.4, layered control rigs. So the animation sequence, the motion capture data is still the raw data. I'm not baking any keys, yet I'm doing an additive layer with the control rig. What this does is it adds to this data. It controls the structure of your rig without having to break the raw data. So same at a neutral control point. So he's running here, and then he turns to walk to the left of the screen. So maybe around here we want to foreshadow that the digital human actor has seen something over there, but it was not in the raw animation. Can we do that? Let's try. Okay. So this correction that I'm doing is on an additive layer. So I can mute this layer and I have my actual animation. I can mute the animation and just view what I've done. This is the control rig. There is no animation data on the control rig. It's only the corrective data that I've just done. As a combination, the control rig is adding to the animation takes precedence. Okay? And the control rig moves with it. This time around, I want to show you some new exciting stuff. I have a Reallusion character creator character digital human. I'm going to bring that character. Okay, so I've just brought in a Reallusion character creator character, and I have the metahuman character. The Reallusion character shows the skeleton. The metahuman character shows a blueprint. Okay, if I was to open the Reallusion character, or similarly, if I would have brought it, this, let's say it was created in Blender or Mine, wherever, this character actually has a skeleton and it's one piece. It's not made of multiple pieces. Reallusion has released a new plugin, which is the control rig system. So if I select my character, I have activated this in my plugins. So I have the character creator icon auto setup, I have the live link, as well as this one. So when I bring a character creator character, I need to have the auto setup activated, so all the textures actually come in properly and it looks the way it does in character creator. Now I can click on execute CC control rig action and let's see what it does. The CC rig is complete. Okay. Oh, wait. I have a control rig. So if I bring this control rig out and go turn it around 90 degrees, bring it out here. Now you see the icon has changed. It is same as a metahuman icon. Why? Because it's a blueprint. This is a skeletal mesh. This is a blueprint. This is a blueprint. So now if I was to open my sequencer And let's add both of these. Actually, let's add the skeleton mesh first. There's my skeleton mesh. It's one piece. Can I actually bake this to a control rig? Yes, I can. FK control rig. Because this character never had a control rig. Okay? Well, what can I do with this FK control rig? Click plus, click additive, add a neutral control point. Come on, don't. Thank you. And now really, now I can start doing this. But remember, it's a FK control. It's not an IK control. Forward kinematic. It is only affecting the joints. It's not affecting the chain. Okay? But there is no control rig available for this. There is one thing that always bugs me, and that is, what if my character was actually walking over, let's say this is a boulder on the ground. The animation that was done, the performance capture that was captured, was that the character walks straight. Yes, we could have actually matched a boulder placement so the character would have actually walked over it, but right now, if I was to bring in an animation, this is what is going to happen. It is going to be a mesh penetration. And this bugs me. My OCD goes berserk, alright? And if you're anything like me, you have faced this issue. And yes, I can go and I can actually, pick each control and I can bring it up and I can bring it out and then, do it that way. But it is individual keyframe. Again, do I have the time? Do I have the budget? Yes and no. Now, with this layered control rig system, we can actually use something which is called a ground alignment control rig, which is pre-built and available in the, inside of the content examples, and you can migrate the thing into your project, and that's what I've done. Right, so these are the control rig examples, and I have migrated that folder, and what I want is the CR ground alignment control rig. So I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to say duplicate, and I am going to go and say this thing. Okay. It's this one. And I'm going to move this into my folder. Move here. And if I open it up, oh wait, it shows me the UEFN character. That's interesting. Let's go to the preview. Let's search for Jesse. Now I have the Jesse skeleton mesh, and then I have the body, then I have the face. Those are, the bottom two are the metahuman ones. So the skeleton mesh is the one piece. The body and face are the separate ones. So I want the body. Uh-oh, it did something weird. What did it do? If we go here, you'll see that in this control rig setup, there is a get transform bone component. And the bone says ball left, ball left. If I go and change this to ball right, and compile, it fixes it. So things are becoming more compatible now. Okay, things are starting to work. And now, if I go and right click on the root and refresh and go and search for Jesse body, I have refreshed the hierarchy of the skeletal mesh to be that of this character. I can compile, I can save it, and let the magic begin. Plus, control rig. Oh, I have the ground alignment control rig available. I'll be using it as a layered control rig. So I have to tick the layered and select that. But what does that do? Whoop, it's going on the head because I chose the head and the head is popping. This caught me out initially. It has a face component which is a skeletal mesh. It has a face control rig which is the face board. And it has a body control rig. But where is the body skeletal mesh? It is hidden in the blueprint. Click the plus. There's your component body. Now, if I go and get rid of that, go in, just the body control rig. Doesn't. Let's just try control rig, layered, ground alignment. Now the ground alignment control rig is layered under the body. So, what does it do? Whoop. Auto ground alignment. You're welcome. This is thanks to Greg Richardson and the control rig engineering team who have created this. And this is happening in real time, not in run time. What do I mean by real time and not run time? You will see that I am not playing or simulating. It is happening just in the viewport. What if I wanted to add a run animation on top of this character? Would it work? Let's find out. Character VFM animation. Let's just say walk. Let's just pick any one. Retarget animation. Search for the Jesse body. There's my body and floating glasses. Really cool. Walk. Oops. If I can type. Walk. Walk. Okay, no, that's good. Okay, walk forward. So, I want to retarget this animation onto that character because I want to be able to use this animation. So, export animation, test animation. The test animation folder doesn't exist, that's the one I created just to dump all my animations in. You would actually have a better hierarchy, so I would have an animation folder under this character creator, characters parent folder, and that is how I would be doing it. Export, plus on the body, animation, here's the animation that I just retargeted. And here's one. Yes. Whoop. It works in real time. So adding this ground alignment does that. So now I can go and I can add a cube, and let's make this wider. Let's turn it around, incline it, and let's say this young fella is walking and actually walks up. It does some weird calculations to try and come down because there's no proper incline, but that's how the ground alignment system works, right? Wanted to show you that. And one last thing that I want to show you is if I was to go and bake this animation to my control rig, body rig, get rid of this animation. Here's my animation. I can then go and add my layered ground control rig. This was this way. Okay, anyway. So here is my body control rig with the animation of the walk cycle. I've baked the keys this time, but I want the head to turn around as I'm walking. So what can I do? I can click plus, editor, of course add a keyframe as a control, and over here I can select the head control, and I can rotate the head, and it will work that way. Now, the other thing that I can do is constraints. So how do constraints work? I'm constraining, not parenting it. Okay? So let's reuse this here, for example. Okay. On the control, let me just correct this a little bit. Okay. So, as my character is walking, I want my character to look at, let's say, this object or another actor, or maybe there's a vehicle driving past. You know, I want my character to dynamically turn their head to look towards that particular thing. Yes, I can do with keyframing, but it's going to take me time. But with constraints, what I can do is I can select the head control. I can click the constraint, and I have a look at constraint. I can select my sphere, and that is done. Pick that up. So I'm moving my sphere, and my head control is constrained to look at this sphere wherever it moves. So now, if I close my stuff, I had never added the sphere. It auto added when I added the constraint. So now, if I was to go and add a transform key, and then I said, okay, Mr. Sphere, I want you to, oops, wrong, whoa. That's weird. I have broken it. constraint. Select the head control, click the plus for constraint, look at, click the sphere, and it moves. Somewhere around here, I want it to really, okay, I want it to move there, go forward, move there, 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 okay. Yeah. Now, let's go left. I can select the sphere, go to my details, go to visible, and I can say rendering invisible. I can press play, and my head is moving because it's constrained to the sphere. If I switch on the visible, you will see where my character is looking at. It's not the head that is animated, it's the sphere that is animated. But because the head control is constrained to the sphere, it follows the transform and the rotational values of the sphere. Okay? But don't move it too much because the neck will break. Alright? And the chiropractor will be very happy. So that's how it works. Okay, I can go on showing you heaps of stuff, but I think we've covered a lot of things today, and as usual, I am always running overtime because I tend to have a lot of fun. So hopefully this has shown you the capabilities of the new modular control rig system, as well as how you can use auto retargeting and motion capture cleanup within Unreal Engine, but also use same animation on characters that are coming from the marketplace. I mean, most of the game characters these days on the marketplace have the control rig or they're compatible, but custom characters, like I brought a character creator character in. Alright, so of course then I could create an animation blueprint where I can drive the control rig in the animation blueprint. I could create an animation montage and expose it to cinematics. What do I mean by that? That means I could actually then go and click the actual components, and I would find the component in here, and I can drive certain things out of blending, let's say 20 different animation clips and so forth, which is basically what motion matching is, and that is what I brought what I was showing you earlier. So game animation sample is where I brought the animation from, so it gives you all the strafing, left and right movements and everything. And here's the content example. You find it on the sample, just download it, and you can do that. You can figure out how things are set up or not, but if you don't know how, you can simply reuse it. Unreal allows you to do that. So yeah, with that, I think I need to stop myself, otherwise I will keep on showing more and more and more. So any questions, happy to answer them.